All righty. Are you ready, pretty Nikki?
Yeah.
Love to give some folks a few seconds to get in here. As they say, get in here, get in here.
Come on, man.
Like we doing devotion at church or something.
Come on. You know, it's funny because that's all devotion was. Is to give more people. I mean, not all it was.
That's what it was intended for.
To give people more time. I'll think a few more.
That's what it was intended for. All righty, pretty Nikki. So how are you doing today, baby?
Woo, Chad, it's hot around these parts today, girl.
Well, we're gonna talk about that hot parts in a minute, right?
Yeah.
So before we get started, Nikki.
Okay.
I just have to tell you. Yesterday I preached.
You did.
I did. Post COVID. It's the first time I've preached since COVID, and I promise you, I came home yesterday and I felt like I was in a coma.
I didn't know you had an engagement yesterday.
I preached at the church I play for here in New Jersey.
Again, I'm gonna stick with the fact that I didn't know, but it's. My point was that I didn't.
Sorry,
but
sorry.
I felt like Davy right there for some reason.
You felt like who?
Davy Thomas. That's what he was saying. I didn't, but
so that's the point. I didn't know.
Yeah, it wasn't.
That is funny.
I wasn't aware.
That is funny, but yes, I did, and I came home and it was great. It was good. I was nervous because I wasn't sure that I was going to be able to breathe my way through it, but it was good.
How did you do?
Is that a question that a preacher should answer?
I'm talking as far as your breathing.
Oh,
how did that go? I know how you did. That's not.
It went well. Like I was very surprised.
I mean, I know you did well as far as preaching. But
here's the funny part. It caught up with me today. I've had to use my rescue inhaler twice today.
That's what the people don't realize about this COVID is that it lingers.
Yeah. And before today, I had a post-COVID asthma attack. Have never had one that severe.
That's severe. I didn't know you had asthma attacks.
Yeah, I have asthma.
I didn't know you had.
Yeah.
That's why on the World Wide Web and I'm discovering that you have asthma.
I don't know. That's why I was so terrified of getting COVID. Like I was scared that it was going to take me out of here. So yeah. Yeah, I have asthma.
That, but you never said it was due to the fact that you have asthma. I've never heard you make reference to an inhaler until now or anything.
Well, I usually here since COVID, I've been like, I don't let it leave my sight. As a matter of fact, this is the first time I left it in the bathroom, but I usually keep it with me.
I just didn't know that.
Yeah.
I wish I knew where this camera was. But okay.
It's a little bitty. You see a green dot?
I do. Is that it?
That's your camera. That's your camera. Yeah.
Okay.
You feel better?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So how did your weekend go? What happened in your weekend?
I had a very good weekend. I supported my friend Tia. Tia Mitchell. You did a interview with Tia.
She's dope.
She is over the women's group at Divine Destiny, Pastor David and Lady Shanae Edwards here in Murfreesboro. Mm-hmm. And they had their first annual women's brunch, and it was amazing. Tia's over the top. And her mother, Patricia Ann Smedley, oh baby, the world needs to know about Patricia Ann Smedley.
She tough too?
Oh, she's bad.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
She's bad on another level. But so it was grand and over the top. Mm-hmm. It was amazing. It was really good.
That's awesome. Is it on Facebook so people can see it?
It was more than what you came expecting. Yeah, they have pictures and stuff, but Tia's talk should have been on there, but it wasn't.
Okay.
I have a piece of it. It was really good.
Gotcha.
But it
I
was really
actually,
good. That was Saturday. What did you do?
I've got to release her episode soon. She's coming after. I've got Cherie Jones coming up. I think
Uh-huh.
2 or 3 weeks, something like that, and then
That
Tia
was
is
going to be a
after.
good one.
Woo, woo.
Sheree John.
It's going to be amazing, amazing. I can't wait. So
I'm flabbergasted by Sheree. She amazes me.
that makes two of us, my dear sister. So we got about 4 minutes before we get to our deep end. So just real quick, I want to share with you about my Women's History Month tributes.
That have been amazing.
You know, I had no idea it would turn out the way that it has.
It's been amazing.
You know, I've had people send me people or suggest people that I should have host, but it's not like I was looking for anybody specific. Like I I literally like thought about people that I can remember over my lifetime that have made a difference of some sort.
Right.
And there are thousands probably of other women that I could have done. And if I had 1,000 days, I would.
Mm-hmm.
But the women that I've featured have really like sprung up to me. You know what I
Right.
mean? Yeah. So,
Right. Meant something to you personally.
yeah, but I don't want anybody to mistake that to mean that if you weren't in the group of women for 30, I only had 31 days.
Right.
So if you weren't there, it didn't mean that you didn't mean something to me. You know what I mean?
But it was from a different place though, right? It was the
Yeah.
30 that you could get in
The
that
30
meant
that I could get in.
right, or the 31. But yeah.
31. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's understandable. I could understand, but we had a big church too. We come from a huge church family.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, we was really probably considered to be what would have been considered a mega church before mega churches came into play. You know what I mean?
Exactly. We would have been a mega church. How
And
about that?
I still have ever haven't come across too many churches that had the family foundation that we had.
Yeah. 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 We were a family, like a real family church, old
Mhm.
fashioned family church, you know?
I'm sure other people have the same testimony though of they grew up back in that day and time.
Mhm.
It feels different when we talk about it because I mean I just don't think that a lot of people got to experience what we experienced.
Yep. Yep. All right, Nikki, it's 8:09. Almost it's countdown. You know what?
What?
She has something to say.
And I'm gonna say it. And she has something she wants to talk about.
Let's talk.
That's a nice little cheese.
All righty, pretty Nikki, pretty Nikki, pretty Nikki. Okay, here we go. So here's what I'm going to say, and I'm going to let you have the floor. I awakened this morning after I awakened and was about to work out. I got a call. I won't say from whom, but I was asked, so what did you think about last night? And the only thing I can think about is that I fell off in a coma. I was like, well, what about last night? And the person proceeded to try to tell me what happened, but I like didn't understand it. I was like, as a friend of mine says, couldn't be bothered. All right.
So last night for me, I watched the Oscars.
Okay.
And I watched it from beginning to end. I watched the red carpet. I set my
Oh,
night up for it. I was ready. Unaware, though, I like to see the red carpet. I'm real
okay.
big into the red carpet. So that's expected. I will go in and out of the Oscars. I always have. Last night, I got the Holy Ghost. Some said, be still, don't tire. Some said, you stay right here tonight, daughter. Don't you move.
Gosh, that is so funny.
And I did just that. And so I had been talking to my friend since middle school, Janelle. We had both been talking about the Oscars back and forth.
Okay.
So we were just kind of going back and forth when that happened. And I was
Okay.
like, what just happened? And of course, I think I know I wasn't the only one that thought, is this scripted? You
Okay.
know, a lot of people that were there, I've heard a lot of interviews where even the people that were there were wondering, is this a part of some type of script, some sketch? You know, they had been doing little sketches and stuff during the night. It was
Mhm.
so good. The hosts were amazing. Everybody looked amazing. um Queen Latifah, she just deserves an honorary mention. I'm sorry, nothing against anybody else, but it was the Queen Latifah. It was Dana for me, baby.
Really?
Oh, she brought the sun. So
Okay.
anyway, catch a picture.
Okay.
So, but everything was good. And
Okay.
up until that point, Chris Rock came out,
All right.
and all of a sudden he looked at Jada and pointed and said, "I love you, Jada. Waiting for G.I. Joe or G.I. Jane or whatever, too." And I saw I felt Jada more than what I saw, if that
Okay.
makes any sense. Be it having alopecia myself, I felt her when
Hmm.
her eyes rolled in like in the back of her head, like, oh Lord, that's what you're gonna do. The hair jokes. And it was like it almost felt like all of this for me, it was all of this. I'm sitting here and all of this. My husband is up for an Oscar. It's the biggest night of his career. I am flawless. I look beautiful, even with a hair problem and a hair condition, alopecia. I'm beautiful. And you gonna come at me about my hair
Hmm.
tonight? And so for a minute, it looked as though Will Smith laughed. I'm not sure at what point and what he was laughing at, but he could have just been in character trying to move on through the night. I don't know,
Okay.
but he then gets up, walks up on the stage, and boom, pops Chris Rock dead, slaps him. Some say smacked, some said he slapped him. Either way, he hit him in his face.
Okay.
So Chris Rock says, "Ah, blank." Will Smith just smacked the blank out of me.
Uh-huh.
So
Patting yourself on the back because you used the blank in the. I had a beep
no,
some.
not necessarily that, but just I was conscious of
Okay.
I
Okay.
didn't spell it. Not that I would have said it, but I didn't spell it or
I
anything.
got you.
So anyway,
Got you. Got you. Okay.
uh, public relations. So you in that moment, we really didn't know at first, because I thought, is this a skit myself? But it absolutely was not. Will Smith went back to his seat and commenced to cussing Chris Rock out.
Hmm.
Now, for me, it was I said in my post today, thank you to him and Jada, thank you to Jada for being already free with how she felt about it and where she was, and being open and being transparent, and
Okay.
Will for he to me, he had time to he made a decision. If you ask me, it might not have been time. He could have been caught in rage, I don't know, but either way, just like Chris made the decision to say that, when he did not, I do not feel like Mr. Rock had to uh do that. You are established. You are what a lot of people consider legendary. I went to a Chris Rock show just a few months ago, and he is a thinking comedian. He
Hmm.
tells jokes that he's clearly thought about, and you would have to think about sometime to catch.
Okay.
So for him to do that, and it was unscripted, my question was, what made you make the decision to go for her, come for her in that moment? You didn't have to do that. It wasn't necessary. You're not a comedian that was. I could see if he was fresh off the market and boom, this is your big moment, your first time at the Oscars. You walking out there, you kind of hype, you gonna take a moment. You made, to me, then that's just a real bad decision. I don't know. I feel like Chris Rock made a bad decision, but in his position, for me, I wonder, why did you make the decision to go for her? Some would say it's just because Will, the heat is on Will and Jada. They have an open They've been very open about their marriage and their life. They've been very free with their kids, all that. They've allowed us to see all that. Some people agree with, some people don't. That's their household, their business, and they clearly don't need to ask nobody for no money. So what they do is really up to them and how they want to live their life. Will made a decision to handle it in front of the world on the biggest night of his career. Because from my point of view, he was tired anyway, kind of just tired of it, all of it, whatever that is. And it was just like, you ain't get ready to do this to my family. And if I don't do nothing else, I'm going to take a stand for her and for them tonight. And
Okay.
that's what he did. And be it wrong, be it right. Did he have to? Should he have? Debatable, all of it. Some I might agree with, some I might not. At the end of the day, for me, he defended her in a
Gotcha.
very sensitive subject and at a very sensitive time.
Gotcha.
And
Okay.
and for me, I'm grateful for the fact that he did it. He didn't might not have could he have done it and walked up there and said, "Hey, Chris, I don't appreciate that." And I still felt like, "Thank you, Mr. Smith." Absolutely. Still. It just was what it was. He got popped. I mean,
Okay.
they
So,
find him, he can pay for it. I mean,
yeah. So I'm glad you said that because I did see your post on Instagram. Believe it or not, I was sitting at a stoplight. I popped my Instagram open and I was like, oh, Lord, this is so long I can't read it, but I'm going to get back to it. But when I saw you said, thank you, Will Smith, I was like, oh, we got to talk about that. Nikki and I have to talk about that. Because just the little bit of that I saw a news clip or so of Chris was saying something. I couldn't hear what he was saying. I did hear G.I. Jane, G.I. something, Joe. And then I saw Will walking. I saw Chris's response. I saw Will sit down and start yelling the expletives about his wife's name.
mm-hmm.
So here's what I thought. So I thought a couple of things. I thought a range of things. I thought the first thing I thought is here is Black money going crazy again. Because I thought about Kanye West and his erratic behavior on display for the world to see because you can't handle your emotions or you can't handle yourself in a moment. And so I'm going to do what I can do because if I felt like if Will was Black and Chris was white, we'd be looking at police cars, blah, 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 a whole bunch of different stuff going on. That was my first thought. My second thought was pretty quickly, Jada doesn't need Will to defend her. That was my thought. If anything, Will would need Jada to defend him before Jada needs Will to defend her. And I was like, so that sounds so tipping on misogynistic, like, you go and defend my honor. I didn't see Jada's response that way. I was like, well, why did he need to defend Jada, which in her career, she's never needed Will to stand up and speak on her behalf, like to defend her actions. And this is why I say that, because it leads me into my third point. And I'm not preaching. I just had several thoughts about it. My third point was, I felt like just as I was watching it, that Will got nervous because they had put so much of their business on display that he got anxious about how far is this going to go? Whoa, 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 whoa. And that his nervousness caused him to react like, oh, no, I'm going to shut this down. Because just last week, I believe it was last week, I was watching Will being interviewed by somebody. I want to say it might have been Gayle King, but I could be totally wrong because all I heard was their voice. And they said something about, well, you and your wife have, talked publicly about, your various affairs. And he did this. No, we haven't. We haven't had any affairs. And the person said, huh? He said, we haven't had it. Got very angry. We haven't had any affairs. We haven't done anything that the other person didn't know anything about. So immediately I thought, oh, now he's temperamental about the fact that he's exposed his family and his business to the public. And this all happened like a week or two ago. And so my third thought was, okay, after Jada didn't need Will to defend him, my third thought was he got nervous because here it was coming again. And it started with her hair, but it's going to end up somewhere else. How far is this going? So I didn't see it as like, of course, it could have been the alopecia. It could have been that he was defending her honor. It could have been that he was coming for his wife. But I didn't feel like that's what it was.
And it might not have been. And I would love to be able to call Will and Jada and just ask them. But I'm not going to pretend that I have relationships that I don't have. However, did he have to defend Jada? No. Did he defend Jada in that moment? Yes.
But see, do you call that a defense of Jada?
I think he defended, in my personal opinion, although it stood up for Jada and women with alopecia everywhere, in that moment, it affected all of us. Her response affected me. However, I can see what you're saying. I can see where your point of view, but I still think, in a sense, he was tired, and it came for. I think it was a defense against Jada and everything and anything that they had been up against in that moment. He was tired.
Tired of what? That's my question. What was he tired of
it all.
Of what?
But you're gonna. I mean, I just think it's just whatever it is. He's tired.
No. Say more. Say more.
But I absolutely feel like him and they made the decision to stick it out together. Whatever they made that choice, and they've made the choice to be open about them sticking it out. And people have a lot to say about their choice to be open and yet stick it out together. I think that was enough. Y'all been talking about us. And in this right here, this is out of her hands. This is something that she's been dealing with. It's affected her self-esteem and all that. And who she is as a woman. And I'm just not gonna sit here and do this tonight.
So here's what I have to ask you about the stick it out together. Because for years, there has been commentary on Jada and Will's relationship, having an open marriage. I think everybody speculated. There were rumors, and I think people maybe who had been in relationships with them let it slip here and there, but there was never a concrete.
Some let it slip, some made the decision to talk about it. Put it out
exactly. And nobody had Will and Jada's version of the story. But Will and Jada made if indeed, because Will said it in that interview, and I have to go back and find it. Will said, neither one of us have done anything that the other didn't know about. So there was no decision to stick it out. That was a choice. That's how their marriage was going to look. So if that's how you choose that's how your marriage is going to look. So here's what I'll say is the equivalent. So my mom and dad, my mom is the driver. She loves to drive. Everywhere they go, she drives. My dad sits over patiently and he rides. If they go to the council convention, they come to Kentucky, and some man walks up to my dad and says, Floyd, you a weakling, man. Your wife drives you everywhere. Does my mom then have to defend him for a choice that they've made as a couple? That's public, that everybody sees? Does that require a defense?
Maybe not in that case, but if they've been saying it for years. And they
whoa. They've been saying what for years? They've been saying Jada was G.I. Jane for years?
If they've just been picking on, if you show up and you're tired and they show up to the council and, on the way there, yes, she drove, but we've had a flat, we ran out of gas, you called them and had something going on. One of the grandkids have something going on. And so then at that point, somebody says something to him, you coming against him and his family at that point, and now he's tired.
Okay, perfect example.
He's tired of his family being under attack. And so at that point, now you're about to get it. Was it just about Jada and the GI Jane or the alopecia are not. But alopecia is huge today, and it's got a huge light on it.
Okay, you gave me a perfect example because you described circumstances that are outside of their control. Flat, other people, blah, 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 blah. Those are outside of my parents' control. But what's happened with Will and Jada? So let's talk about, by comparison, people who have lived as highly, potentially visible lives that we've not been that privy to. For example, Prince. We know very little about Prince's life. Prince was conscious about what he exposed to the public. So if Will and Jada have exposed all of their business to the public, do you then get to say, I'm tired of y'all talking about it?
But did they expose it, or did they make a decision based off of being who they are and we're talking about it anyway to just go on and have an open door?
No, because how black people, like Viola Davis and her husband, we don't know much about what happens in their house. They haven't invited social media in there. They haven't said, oh, my husband. The one thing Viola did talk about is they talk about this openly about when they started dating, she was broke. She had a terrible credit score. And he said, I knew that, blah, blah, blah. But other than that, they kept that private.
I get what you're saying, but I think circumstances are to cases. That was their decision. Their decision is to be more open. And it's a different side. Viola and them don't have kids that are also in the business. They don't have kids that other people are watching and looking at too. They didn't have. So all of that to me it's different. It brings a different level of inviting people in. They chose to control it more and to live more private lives where they are out in more public.
So how do you get upset when people are talking about what you've exposed?
That don't mean you still can. It's one thing to talk about it. He didn't come out there and say, oh, Jada's got a low haircut tonight in a beautiful green dress. Or, we see Jada is, sitting here with this bald head and able to make this work tonight. He didn't do that. He didn't just say something about her. He took a dig on a health situation.
Okay, so I mean, I guess
he took a dig on a sensitive matter, and the man, he didn't have to do that.
Okay, but let's think about it like this. If every person slapped somebody for what they said that they felt like it was a dig, what would our society look like? How many times, let's just be real, I have to think about myself. How many times would I have been slapped? Even when I was saying something joking to friends.
It's debatable, Lonnie. I agree with you on that.
We would just be slapping people all day.
Again, I'm not saying that he should have slapped him. He just got what he got. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't know that it was the best decision. I'm not saying that he should have. And I get the whole thing about the defense. But in that moment, he took a dig on a sensitive subject. That lady, as beautiful as she was, I know what it takes. And you can leave out and know you look good and still wonder if somebody's going to come for you. What are they going to say? Sometimes I've had kids, I've been very surprised sometimes with my bald head at the reaction of kids. Some of them like it. You don't know where you're going to get it from.
Right. And we're over time, so we can keep going because I don't think we finished. So I'm going to add. It's 8:30. Yes, but let me just add one thing to it. Okay. And you can tell me to stop or keep going. So I'm going to take my hat off for a second. I'll wear my hair short, right? Okay.
I'm not taking my off, and I can show you the real truth about it.
Hush.
That coming out. I'm just not one of them chicks. I know some of them would, and I don't blame you. That's your business. But Nikki Nadine's daughter's not doing that.
No, I just wanted to make a point. So I have one.
You can afford to do it.
No, listen. No, I'm going to use another example. So I've worn my hair close for multiple number of years, like double-digit years. One of the things that when I went into teaching in our teacher preparation program, they said, Be careful of how you carry your emotions into the classroom. Now, I'm a teacher. I'm not a multimillionaire like Will Smith. Mm-hmm. Careful of how you carry your emotions into the classroom. Up until a year ago, I had 4 missing teeth. I only have 2 now. Okay? Bridges, dental work is a beautiful thing.
Amen.
The first time this happened, 2 things happened, and I was like, oh my God, that kid just said that. One of my students said, hey, I was Miss Floyd. Hey, Miss Floyd, why every time you laugh, we see all 9 of your teeth? Oh, what's the matter, Nikki? What's the matter? You try not to get tickled. Oh, why you laughing? I should come and slap you.
I was.
Yes. And so this is the one thing that I can count on happening every school year. Doesn't matter where I go. Doesn't matter what grade level I work with. Particularly little kids. Happened this year. So I'm teaching a class. We're short on social studies teachers. We're teaching a class, and there's a little kid had a baseball cap. It was hat day or something, and he kept playing with the hat. And I was like, oh, I got to take the hat. Took the hat, and then later on I said, oh, I need to remember to give it to the principal so I don't forget. So the principal comes and says, hey, Dr. Floss, do you have that hat? And I said, Dr. Floss, what do you mean? She said, well, that's what he called you, Dr. Floss. And I had to tell him, I said, she is in her office, but I'll make sure you get it. He said, no, it's he, Dr. Floss. And she said, no, it's she. And he paused for a second, was like, what? And he was thoroughly confused. Now, mind you, I'm wearing a mask. Every time I'm working with little kids, this was a 4th grader, elementary school classroom, kindergarten classroom, said, are you a boy or are you a girl? Now, Nikki, Jada, with all the money that she has, if Jada did not want to walk around with her hair cut short, if she did not want her alopecia to show, if she was sensitive enough that she needs somebody to defend her, couldn't she do something different? I could certainly walk in with a skirt on and wear my hair longer if I'm offended or bothered by how kids call me.
She could have, had she wanted to. I mean, I don't have Will and Jada's money, and I sit here with 20-something inches right now. I don't have their hair. I'm bald. I could take this guy because it grows in certain. My hair grows in certain spaces. I could take it off right now, and you will see where it will not grow. It's extremely visible. You can clearly see the alopecia. I'm choosing to do this right now. It's still cold outside. The bald is coming back, and I'm excited. But I didn't got excited about it. But right now, it's cold.
I hear you.
It's cold, so she covers up. I got choices. I take my choices.
And you live with your choices, don't you, baby?
And I live with my choices. I could sit here. I could say it is what it is. And, this is however it is and go with that. I choose not to do that. I choose to present something different to myself for me because I don't want to do that today. Tomorrow I might. So for Jada, even though she doesn't, and even when you okay, I don't mean you want to hear about it from everybody else. She could have made a choice, but that was the choice she chose to set in, and she's been choosing to deal with it. And I respect her choice to deal with it or to call whoever she wants to. She got somebody come in and do her hair, and we never know the difference. She didn't have to tell us a thing about it.
Exactly. All righty.
This doesn't have to be a topic of conversation at all. But I just feel like in that moment, and especially what we haven't talked about is Will's speech afterwards. Because to me, his speech connected a lot of the dots for it.
All right.
He made the statement. He made the statement that he has been called to love from a different place.
Why you smack people? Hold on.
And in the defense of those whom he loves.
You don't love and smack, baby. Love from a different place. And that place is, I act like I'm on the street, and if you say something about me, I'm gonna rep like I do on the street corner. What they say, you stepped on my sneakers.
I didn't take that from that. I understand where some people are with it and they get it. And again, I could have been okay either way. I really could have. Had they chose to take it as a joke and brush it off, hey, it is what it is. I wouldn't
Yo.
have been mad at that either. But I'm not mad at him for smacking him. I'm just not.
All right, let me just read you a couple of the comments here. Question was, did Chris Rock know? And I read that someone said Chris Rock said he did not know that Jada had alopecia. And we cannot say that he did know because we really don't know if he did or not. Also, there's
He learned last night. I said, well, he learned if he didn't know.
Yeah, there was also a comment on here about you shouldn't have to change who you are to avoid criticism. You learn to get thick-skinned to be yourself. I ain't gonna slap everybody to talk about my mama.
I mean, I'm not either. Or everybody that talks about me. But there are times. You know, I'm one of those people you might step on my. I have been one of those people because I've been working on it. I've been one of those because Lee Nelson taught me I can talk, say what's on your mind, and still be okay. I don't fear my friendships and my relationships based off of having a different opinion. Let me say that.
Yeah, that is true.
But I used to be one to just hold it all in. Oh, it's okay. No, it's no problem. Oh, whatever. Oh, no, I'm fine. Oh, it doesn't matter. Oh, I know you didn't mean to hurt my feelings. So, oh, whatever. And just keep going. And then you might step on my toe one day.
It all blows.
Or knock something over, baby, and find out that I'm a Gemini.
Oh, Jesus, you Geminis. All right, so let's go.
It can all come to a head. It just depends on, on how you're going to allow things to affect you.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I feel like they both made conscious choices. Chris Rock made the choice to say it. Will Smith made the choice to walk up there and pop him for it.
Yeah. So I got two things to ask you. You're going to talk about Will's speech after. And I want to share something somebody said to me about it. And then somebody said something about a joke. So tell me about what Will's speech. I didn't see that. I just saw the picture of him with tears.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. He talked about love and the fact of how he was able to, he said, I got the chance, or I had the chance to protect these people, Lonnie, you're not gonna do. First of all, I'm a Will fan. Number one, let me just go on and make that.
Oh, I'm a Will fan. I'm a Will fan.
I liked Will Smith before last night, and baby,
I'm a Will fan. I'm a Will fan. I'm with you. Yeah, I just
from one level to another. But anyway, I still like Chris. Bad decision, but I enjoy Chris Rock. He's hilarious. Baby, he was a zany. He said, baby, we've been in. That man said we've been in oh Lord, what we've been in, Lonnie? A pandemic.
Oh.
He said, and I done found myself. He said, everybody looking for work. I'm back in Zanies. Oh, it took me. And he said, I'm looking like Pookie from. Now that's the piece I couldn't understand. I just could not understand why we was looking at him looking like Pookie from New Jack City. But hey, that's his business too. Nevertheless, back to Will's speech, which is what we're supposed to be talking about. I felt as though it was very heartfelt. Yes, he did cry, but he talked about just being in a position of wanting to protect the people that you love.
So here,
that's what I took from it. To me, that was about, and I am going to watch it again tonight.
So can I ask you this? Because you've said that several times, protecting the people you love, So are we now?
Because that's what they were saying.
Okay, so are we now saying that nobody can talk about Will Smith and his family. Don't do it because he's going to protect the people that he loves. Is that a rational or reasonable conversation for us to be having? Is that what we're saying we now do? We now know, don't talk about Will and Jada. We cannot say anything about it. We definitely can't talk about Will and Jada's relationship. It's off the conversation. We can't talk about their kids. We can't talk about her hair. We can't talk about anything. Just don't talk about it. Unless you're saying something nice, don't talk about it. Because Will has the right to defend the people that he loves. Is that a rational thing to be saying in the world, again, of social media where you're shit? I'm struggling with that part. Because what about his family needed to be defended?
Again, we don't know what happened and what they let him went through in the moments before stepping onto that red carpet. You know what I'm saying? We don't know what he had to do.
Somebody said, we don't talk about Bruno. We don't talk about Jada. I've yet to see that.
I haven't either, but it seems to be pretty hot. I mean, I get it. I do. But at the same time, I'm a house divided on it, I guess. I don't feel like he was wrong. I do. Can he just start smacking everybody that's talking about them? Or should you? Or should we? No. Some people would be smacking a whole lot of people and all of the time. However,
we'd start at home, just start smacking people, go out to the neighborhood, smack people down the street. We'd just be smacking people all over the place.
However, that was his decision. Yeah, I mean, we can't do it. Now, I'm not a fighter like that. Anyway, I'm not getting ready to waste no time fighting. I'm just not interested. I believe in peace. I'd rather have peace. I'd rather like you. Because not liking you takes a whole lot out of me. Now I can not like you, but I don't want to not like you.
Yeah.
I prefer to like and love.
Give me a reason not to like you. It's too much work.
I got a story too, but everybody, they find reasons and stuff too, honey. People find reasons to do it. And then some people are Cherie used to have to tell me, some people don't like you because you're likable. So, and because you do because you do get along with people. People have all kinds of reasons for treating you funny, and you just have to make the decision to be comfortable and be yourself, and you love you first. That's what I've learned. You love you first, and then other people. If you love you and you like you, then other people come along. But I mean,
so
it is. To me, he did it. And when he did it, and especially behind his speech, yes, thank you.
Yeah,
I still stand by that.
I still have that lingering question, and I don't know if you're the person to answer this. Do we go to CNN and we post it from here on out? We don't talk about Will Smith's family; they are off the market.
I didn't get that from that.
No.
I didn't think that they were completely off the market because he did that. I think it might have been I think it was some reasons we might not know about. The reason why he did that last night. Again, you don't know what he had to talk to her. I have been went out of here about and felt good. But does it help when somebody else says something too? Absolutely. It pours it can pour more into your confidence level. And whether you ever admit it or not, everybody likes to hear it. You can know it yourself, and self-confidence is good and amazing, but it is a booster when somebody else adds to what you already got going on. Now, you might not want to tell the truth about it, and that's your business, but that's my personal opinion. Do I know it? Yes. Does it boost me if you tell me or somebody else outside tells me? Absolutely. It's like, girl, you was right all along. But we don't know if Jada had a hard time, like, oh, I don't want to go, or we don't know how many wigs she tried on with that dress at the last minute and decided, oh no, I'm just gonna go like this. We don't know what. Maybe she decided the whole time that dress would go with her bald head, and that could be the look. I don't know. And even if she decided that, she could have still had, like, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay,
but that's what he did.
So I want to talk about something that's bigger than what you were saying, because I think it might, and this is what someone brought to my attention, because I didn't see him laugh. I did see the cry in a picture, but is there something to be said about,
The cry. Okay.
because it's like, I don't know, I'm struggling with it. And again, I'm going to say it clearly. I am a Will Smith fan. I have the book somewhere around here. I haven't read it yet, but I'm a Will Smith fan.
Okay,
But
I had mine before last night too.
yes, I have to. Amazon don't deliver here that fast. I'm gonna tell you that. But anyway, is there something to be said? Something to be said about if Will was under that level of stress? Is there something to be said about? Okay, so we need to be talking to somebody. If we that stressed out that we got to go around slapping people, what are we? What's going on? What's happening in our like? Okay, I've been there. Like somebody does something, you play it off. Somebody does something, you play it off. We do what we call compartmentalizing. We pack it away, pack it away, pack it away. And then the one thing that they say that seems so irrelevant unpacks everything. But that is not the person who said it's fault. It is the person who packed it away's issue. So if I'm able to, and I've done it, whether it be in a church service, when I've dealt with somebody, one time too many, they said this, and then one person walks up to me and says, I just want to know, that song felt like it was in the wrong key. Well, if you think it could be in a better key, you play it. Okay, just all of it spills out. It has nothing to do with the person that said it. It has something to do with me. So if indeed there was
but should they have said that to you? Did they have to say that to you?
Absolutely. It's okay to say that. Like something was wrong with that song. Were you playing in the right key? There's nothing wrong with that in and of itself. On any other day, that would have been just a comment or a conversation. So do we have to temper everything we say for fear that the other person may explode because we don't know what they're carrying it around?
No, I think there comes self-responsibility with that. I had an incident a couple of weeks ago where a friend said something to me, one of my best friends. In most cases, you could have, I would have, in most cases, I would have been like, whatever, and went on. And they would be in who they are, saying stuff they normally would say or whatever. But this day, I didn't feel like it. And I said, you know what? I'm going to talk to you later. It's not you. It's me. And normally, you could have done that and it's no big deal. It is no, and it was Lee Nelson. He don't care. No, me and Lee Nelson had an incident, and as much as I say his name and stuff, he say, I don't know why I chose right then to try to act like I was going to Me and Lee Nelson was on the phone. Lee Nelson was being Lee Nelson, who he is, who I love him to be, and who I accept and give him permission to be all that he is all of the time. That's my friend. I take whatever I want to take, just like I do from you, anybody else, and you all do from me. But he said something, and that day, it was not a good day for me. It was not. I said, I'm going to let you go. But you know what he taught me about in that moment?
What is that?
How you stick it out with your friends. Okay, it's you. So what's going on with you? What's the matter? Because you're right. You don't snap off like that. And this is where the man gets points with me. I'm sorry. Not because he meant it any kind of way. Again, he was being his regular, usual self. It was me. He then says, I am sorry for saying that to you on a bad day. What is going on? And we talked about it and we moved on from that space. And I think that is a life lesson for us all. And some people would have been like, okay, whatever. All right, bye. Talk to you later. You're right. It is you. Work it out. And I wouldn't have blamed that friend for doing it that way. I wouldn't have blamed him, you, Kiasha, Tia, none of y'all. If y'all had done it the same way. But that's the way he chose. And that's the way I would want to work it out and stick it out with somebody else. He did it the way I would have wanted to do it for somebody else.
Gotcha. All right, we've got a few more comments here. Just one a person who has been been diagnosed, I guess is the right way to say it, with alopecia, did not take offense to Chris Rock's comment. They felt like Will was out of place. Yes, they want to be defended, but that was not the place to do so. Another person said he was not stressed out. He just felt like Jada's feelings were hurt. Again, that to me, but he admitted he was wrong. Someone said he just posted an apology. I'm just struggling with that Jada defending Jada thing, and that's just a me thing. Y'all just have to pray my scruff in the Lord with that one, because it just makes Jada sound like a wilting flower.
And I don't think so. I don't think that means it could have just been he allowed her to keep her space. It's who she was that night.
No, I just said it's what it sounds like to me. So I've got to work out in my head what that means, like to defend a person. So that's just me.
That's true.
Huh?
I said, yeah, that's your thing.
Yeah, it's just like, what does that mean? And I can
different things at different times, though, don't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think it can mean like to defend someone.
Maybe we should say took a stand.
That would be differently, because that would be different because you defend something that's weaker, that cannot protect itself. For example, we defend our animals, we defend our babies, we defend our children.
Or maybe he came to the defense rather than defended.
I don't know. It's hard for me to narrow down. People are all over the place, pretty Nikki, with this one. I think you and I are going to have to stand there where we are. I've got somebody trying to FaceTime me. But yeah, I think we're just going to have to stay where we are. And you had something to say, and you said it.
Yeah, I just feel like, that was his decision last night, be it right or be it wrong. And I think that he's man enough to set in any wrong of it, and anything that he needs to get right. I have enough respect for him, and I believe that he will handle it properly and they will move on. Will we remember it forever? Yes. Did he do it on the biggest night?
So can I ask you this? Do you think
what it did not do was take away from Queen Latifah in that yellow for me? It did not shine.
You are stuck on Queen Latifah in the yellow. I gotta check out the picture.
And Tracy Ellis Ross, there was some gorgeous people in there last night, but Tracy, she never misses. So she was Tracy. She gave us what Tracy gives us.
It's all right.
People don't either, but Queen Latifah was absolute. Rose got it on her page or in her story, so she was stunning.
I'm gonna have to check it out. Well, guess what, everybody? She had something to say. Pretty Nikki.
And I said it, and Lonnie talked about it, and we do not agree. But
have a great night. Thank you for joining us right here.